And we are back on the road to glory. Week 4 officially in the books. First quarter of the season is done, and we are here to talk about it all. I am your host, Sean. I'm joined as usual by my co host, Stefan. Stefan, another beautiful day, another great week of college football. How you feeling? What's going on over there?
I'm feeling good. We 4-0. Ducks is flying high. We whoop little bro's ass. Things is going good right now. So I really don't have any complaints.
Yeah, and then obviously on my end it's not going so great. I mean, for some reason the Gators are still being put on prime time every single week. So the whole world got to watch us again. Billy Ball. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll talk about it all though. Talk about it all. But first, before we do all of that, just would like to remind you guys again, like we do at the beginning of every show, just please, if you haven't already, we'd appreciate it if you guys subscribe to whatever platform you're listening to this on, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. It's completely free to subscribe. It really helps us out with the algorithm. Yada, yada, yada. You guys have heard it a million times. And also make sure, if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram at The Pigskin Live. All updates, posts, um, yeah, good stuff over there. All right, Steph, let's get into it then. Real quick, um, before we get into our um, our recap, I have our picks record so far through the first quarter of the year. Um, so through the first 4 weeks, including week 0, so the first 5 weeks technically, I am 7-14. Steph, you are 12-9. So
Ooh!
yeah, you're cooking me right now.
Ooh! Hold up.
I got some
12
work
and
to do.
9? I got
Yes,
a
you are.
winning record?
You do have a winning record. Yes. I was a
Oh!
little bit shocked when I was counting up.
Wow.
You had a really good week 3. Week 3, you
Yeah.
went you went undefeated in week 3 actually. You hit on every single pick.
Wow.
You hit Georgia Tech plus 3.5 against Clemson. You hit you hit Georgia minus 4.5 against Tennessee. Um,
Ooh!
USF versus Miami. You took Miami minus 17.5.
Yes, sir.
UF at LSU. You took LSU minus 7.5. And then A&M at Notre Dame. You also took A&M plus 6.5. And then we also did a Vandy at South Carolina, and you took Vandy plus 3.5. So you went a perfect. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-0. From you were 4-6, and then you ended the week 10-6.
Yeah, I think it was a that was a good week for me because I had it was a lot of teams where I was maybe higher on
Mm-hmm.
that the public wasn't really high on yet, and I was lower on other teams like Clemson. I didn't expect them to be that good. Like, and you know that, like, I wasn't really into the Clemson thing, Kid Club Nick and all that. Just, we'll talk about them, I'm sure, but um Georgia Tech obviously is another one that I was really I really thought could do something this year. And then, Georgia, like, even though the game kind of went how it did and you got into it, and we thought, yeah, Tennessee might be able to get it done, I just still felt like Georgia would be able to do that. And of course, Miami is self-explanatory. So, um, yeah, that was a really good week for me. We did end up tying this past week, right?
Um, this past week, yeah, it
Because I
wasn't a
know
great week for.
you got the Oklahoma score, the Oklahoma and Auburn score right, and I got something else right.
Yeah, we both missed on Utah. I got Oklahoma. We both missed on Nebraska. You got Miami, and then we both missed on Illinois. I would have also got
Yeah,
Miami,
see,
but I was just trolling, so I missed it on Miami. Like,
yeah, see, like, I've been having a good read on Miami.
yeah. I mean, I could have hit on Miami both 2 weeks, but I got to troll them till the day I die. So I'll take those 2 L's. It's not looking good for me. I gotta have a good week coming up or something.
I'm
But yeah,
mad about the well, we'll get into it, but I'm mad about
yeah,
the Utah score for real.
yeah. So yeah, that's a little update. a quarter way through the season. Stephon Leeds, he's also hanging above 500 right now. So I think
That's really my
last year we
goal.
both ended above 500. I think I edged you out, pause,
Yeah,
by
that was crazy.
a couple games. But yeah, let's get into some college football, man. Week 4 started off on Thursday. Only one game, Rice versus Charlotte, some American action. Not much going on there. But then Friday, a couple interesting. Well, it was only one true game that we were interested in. Well, that I was interested in. But with Oklahoma State losing to Tulsa, that kind of made a little bit of headlines and kind of just maybe not took people by surprise with how bad Oklahoma State has been over the past couple of years, but just seeing them in real time lose to Tulsa is just like it's
Abysmal.
yeah. I mean,
And I don't know if you saw, but Mike Gundy just got fired maybe like half an hour ago.
oh no, I didn't. I was literally about to say the end is near. Yes,
Yeah,
the end is not near. The end is here.
yeah,
Um,
the end is here.
Mike Gundy officially fired. I mean, not surprising. That was if you watch them over the past couple years, that was the writing was on the wall. I mean, even last year we had a whole bit on the show where we stopped talking about them totally, but when we did bring them up a couple times, we just called them redacted, redacted state. You have to be very bad to get the redacted treatment. There's a team that's very close to getting redacted treatment. I'm going to bring them up in a little bit, but um,
Wait, who?
we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. But the game that I was very interested in, my very own Rutgers Scarlet Knights had a big opportunity to get their first win over Iowa since joining the Big Ten, and man, it slipped right through their fingers. Right when I thought we had something special brewing, kind of the same old story under Greg Schiano, just not being able to close out games, just inventing ways to lose almost. Um, and it sucks because finally, I think for a long time, you could have talked to a lot of people at Rutgers, around Rutgers, fans of Rutgers. Like, what is it that's going to take Rutgers to that next level finally? That's going to really bring them back to where they were winning, 9, 10 games in the Big East. And obviously, maybe that's not going to be obtainable now that they play in the Big Ten. I mean, maybe it could be, but I think the quarterback would have been the big thing that everybody would have said. We haven't really had a quarterback, a consistent, stable, good quarterback over those years. And finally, Ethan Kalik Manis, who I never thought in a million years would be as good as he is. Just he's been straight up balling, man. They get production on the outside from the two big old wide receivers, KJ Duff, Ian Strong. Got a strong offensive line. Just their defense, man, which has usually been the strong suit for Rutgers over the past couple of years, has just really been letting them down. I mean, their offense kind of sputtered in the second half in this game. Kalik Manis threw an interception towards the end of the game too. That kind of took Rutgers out of it. So I'm not going to put the full blame on the defense, but um, ah, blackout game, great environment. New Brunswick, Piscataway, everywhere was great energy. The city was alive, but just couldn't close it out, man. Couldn't get it done. Iowa unfortunately escapes with a W over Rutgers, 38-28.
Yeah, I think that one was it was tough because in the first half, Rutgers was actually throwing the ball pretty well, but um when you think about it though, a lot of those catches were super tough catches. A lot of those were prayers, in my opinion. I mean, those receivers were making some insane catches with
Yeah,
DBs
they
right
were.
on their hips. Like, so I was just wondering if that was even sustainable, and I don't, and obviously it wasn't because they really couldn't do anything in the second half, and then I think Iowa is a better team overall, even with their issues, but their offense also played way better than I thought it would. Because against Iowa State, I mean, they were just horrible. It looked like it was back to the old Iowa, but against Rutgers, it looked like we saw more of what we expected them to look like. With Gronowski being a really good FCS quarterback and coming up and using his running ability and being able to throw it. But um, yeah, it was just real tough for Rutgers, and I think Rutgers lost two tackles on their old line, so that can kind of contribute to their offensive struggles. And they weren't really able to run the ball much. Um, So yeah, like it was like once the receivers weren't able to do um some pretty heroic things, it looked like it was kind of falling off in the second half. But I think I think that was a good win for Iowa, and especially after losing to Iowa State, they can kind of still
Yeah,
have a pretty good
Gronkowski balled
season.
out. He looked decent
Yeah, yeah. So I think they can still have like an 8 or 9 win season. If they keep getting better and better each week.
for sure. All right, let's get into Saturday. Um, Ohio State and Penn State, were they on bye weeks?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
there was a lot of
So
people on buys.
yeah, because my game list here only starts. I usually have it in like ranked team order, and the highest ranked team is LSU at 3. So I guess 1 and 2 didn't play last week.
No,
All right. Well, LSU, they had a cupcake. They played Southeast Louisiana, one of them directional schools. They handled business. And then that brings us to big rivalry: Florida, Miami. All right. So I mentioned it
Billy's
at the
got to
top.
go.
Look, I mentioned it at the top of the show. I said there's a team that's threatening redacted statement, and unfortunately, it might be my Gators. As long as as long as Billy Ball is in session at the University of Florida, is there really a point on even discussing like again? I know you watch this game. It's the same thing that we see every single week.
I was about to
Bad
say
offensive line play,
that.
predictable offense, um, just just horrendous and horrid. Just and it's the same thing again. Like there's not really a breakdown here. I mean, for a second it kind of got close in the third quarter when Cormani got that pick after we came out of the half and scored. But as soon as that first play happened, after we came, I think we got the ball on like the 50-yard line. As soon as we ran that first play, after the interception, I knew all the hope that I had for a second immediately disappeared because I knew the offense was not about to move the ball down the field and score again. And even if they did, we were not going to hold Miami out the end zone or from kicking a field goal for the rest of the game. So point blank being like this this is just bad, man. I'm so it's crazy that he still has a job. I thought maybe here at the first bye week would be the perfect chance to fire him, name an interim, give the interim 2 weeks, get us ready for Texas. We got some talent on this roster, which is clear, obviously. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say this was a close game, but Florida's defense kept Florida in the ballpark, kept this from getting out of hand. So salute to them again. This is 3, 4 weeks in a row now where they've done their part. It's just Billy's side of the ball has not done theirs. So a
Yeah, I
lot of
don't, I don't, I don't, I don't think this game was really even as close as the score might suggest.
no,
I think Miami got really conservative during that game, and it's because they were able to.
yeah,
Like if you can just kind of be vanilla, not take any risk, and still win a game pretty decisively. I mean, most coaches are going to take that. Um, like they knew that your offense wasn't going to be able to do anything. I mean, how many passing yards did Lagway have? What 60? It was like 63.
60, something like that. Yeah,
Jesus Christ, man.
a lot of under Billy
And
Napier, a lot of first time since 1937, first time since 1968, first time since, and not the good ones, a lot of the bad ones. So he's breaking all kinds of
1930.
records. I'll tell you that.
So you're
It's a record.
breaking 100-year-old,
Yes,
100
literally.
year old terrible records.
Yes, this is all time historically bad. Like this is probably the worst Florida Gators team I've ever seen in my life, and it sucks because it's not the least talented. It's just
No,
the worst.
that's the frustrating part about it. It's
Yeah,
like y'all have good players,
and that's why it's so
but
obvious what the issue is. And I don't
yeah,
see how the admin, like they don't see that. And that's what I've been trying to tell people who listen to this podcast and that pay attention. I've been telling you guys, the admin they see it, they just don't care.
yeah,
They just don't care. And until the people at the top care and they want football to be good again, football cannot be good because the guy that's hired Billy Napier, the guy that hired Dan Mullen, the guy that hired Jim McElwain, that guy is going to make the next hire. So why in the hell do we think he's going to make a good hire now? And yeah, sure, he hired Todd Golden, who won a natty in year three, right? In basketball, but basketball, that's a 15-man roster. It's a whole different kind of thing. And again, I think he just got lucky on that, to be honest. I don't think there was any actual merit to the hire at the time. Like I said, Todd Golden's a guy from California, San Francisco. He has no ties to the University of Florida or anything like that. He was just, a young up and comer coach that I think, again, Scott Strickland got lucky on. And again, that's no shot at Todd Golden. He's literally my savior. He's the only thing that is going to salvage my fall and winter is Florida Gator basketball. But um, I don't think gives Scott Strickland any merit to make the next hire. Our AD needs to be fired and Billy right along with him. But
Yeah, man.
but
I mean, it is nice that your basketball team won a national championship, but
yeah,
football is what brings in all the revenue and kind of drives everything. So you need football to at least be competitive. And right now, y'all are abysmal. I mean, it's getting to the point where it's not even fun to make fun of y'all anymore. Like, them
that's what I'm
first two
saying. We about
weeks
to
of y'all being bad is like, yeah, well, all right, I'm gonna make fun of y'all and all that. But at this point, it's just like now the fans had to watch this BS for like another 10 weeks, and it's just not
tough.
gonna be fun.
And we still have to play Texas, Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee. Um, who else do we play? Mississippi State, Kentucky, Florida State. Um,
Yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
It's pretty
Real quick
bad.
though, before we move on, I gotta hate on Miami a little bit though. I'm not about to let people sit here and try to act like Miami sucks. I'm out on Miami. If you guys were listening to this podcast, you guys know I was low key calling Miami best team in the country. They're not the best team in the country. They're a top 10 team. They don't suck. That was me just like saying that. They obviously don't suck.
They
I
might
think they're
be
a playoff
they're
team.
they're the number one or number two in the country
No,
right now, in my
no, no,
opinion.
no, 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 no,
If you look at the resume,
no, no, no,
first of all, resume and how they played,
no, no, no,
they
no,
they
no.
have the best resume out of anybody. I don't
Offensive
think they're
line.
I don't think they're better than OS. They have a good O line. They have one of the best O lines in the
No, wait,
country.
wait, time out, time out. I wasn't about to disrespect their line. Their offensive
Okay.
line is elite. I'll tell you that. That is their O line is the real deal.
I
Their D
think Ohio
line,
State is better, but if in
Ohio
terms of
State,
just straight
Ohio
up
State will
ranking,
be Ohio State's better. I think Georgia's better. I think Penn State's better.
I
I
don't
think
know.
I think Oregon's probably better. I think
I don't know, man.
I do. I know.
I
Let me
think
tell you
right
why.
now,
Let me
I
tell
think
you why.
Oregon might be better as a team, but I'm still not rocking with Penn State.
Carson Beck, that's the reason why. That's the main reason why. That's the first reason why. Carson Beck is the same Carson Beck. And yeah, oh yeah, Miami was keeping it vanilla. Vanilla this, vanilla that. He wasn't doing nothing. He wasn't doing nothing.
Because they didn't need him to.
No, they
He
need
was
early in
doing
the
something
game and
against Notre
early in the
Dame.
game they were trying to open that shit up. Coming out of halftime, the first play was a 15-yard end. They was trying to have him throw the pill, and it was
Y'all have a
Cormani
good
took
defense
that shit.
though, but we know that.
Cormani
But we
took
know
that shit.
that.
I'm telling you, Carson Beck, he is still a bum. He's just a bum in a different jersey. Second off, second off, Miami's D line, Ruben Bain, he's freaking phenomenal. We've been on that.
All right, so I have a question though. I have a question.
Go ahead,
Who you taking, Carson Beck or Drew Allen?
Drew Aller, without a doubt. I'm not taking Carson Beck under any scenario. And DJ Lagway or Carson Beck, I'm taking DJ Lagway,
In
and that's saying something.
2025,
Right
in
now,
2020.
tomorrow,
First of
going out,
all, no,
going out to.
you're just being dense.
No, I'm not,
There's no
brother. I
way.
just watched the whole game.
Carson Beck is way better than DJ
He
Lagway at the
is
moment.
a watch. They are going to get in a couple weeks. Florida State might take him up through there. I'm just saying.
I hope so. I
I'm
hope it
just
happens, but
saying.
I'm
I'm
saying
just saying. That
based
game,
on what I've seen, Carson Beck has been playing well.
that game was not like. Don't get me wrong. Miami controlled that game. but Miami wanted to give that game away. If Florida, if man, if when but where, okay, I get that, right? If they had a little bit of a pulse, Miami has to throw their whole playbook to beat this version of Florida. Like Carson
Well, yeah,
Beck, he's
if your
not
coach
good.
wasn't a doof, but I mean, I think Carson Beck is a good college quarterback, man.
No, I don't think he's a good college quarterback. I don't think their secondary's that good. I think Ruben Bain, he makes everybody else on that front look better than they are. I don't think they're that good. I think he's just a freak. I think their offensive line is incredible, and that's what helps their run game. So they should be able to run the ball because they have a good stable at backfield. I think their backfield's talented as well. They have good wideouts as well. I think their offense is good. I just think Carson Beck is a bum, and I think their defense is good because of Ruben Bain. Again, I think when they get to the playoffs and they play a team like Ohio State, they play a team like Georgia, they play a team like Penn State, it's bad news. It's bad news. They did not impress me. They did not
Hey man,
impress me
look,
at all.
I think it's impressive that they could just kind of roll out and kind of
We are
coast through a
historically
game.
bad. Mississippi State is gonna coast to a win over us.
I don't know about all that.
I
If
okay,
y'all think y'all gonna lose it, you think you're gonna lose to
bro. You know
Mississippi
what
State?
Texas is about to do to us in a couple weeks? You know what Arch is about to? Arch is about to. They about to start talking about Arch Manning is back next week. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. It is where are there's there we I don't think we beat Mississippi State. I don't think we beat Kentucky. I don't think we beat anybody.
Bro, if
We
y'all lose to
we have
Kentucky,
scored we can't we didn't even score 20 points against USF. How are we going to score 20 more than 20 points against the SEC team? We scored 10 points against LSU and 7 against Miami.
y'all don't play Arkansas.
No, our worst two teams that we play are Mississippi State and Kentucky. Mississippi State is gonna beat us. Kentucky, they stink too. So maybe we beat Kentucky.
So, do you think y'all really gonna finish like 3-0?
Bro, yes, yes. We're going 1-11 or 2-10.
Oh
Unless
yeah, y'all
If
only
Billy
have
gets
one
fired,
win.
not no troll. If Billy gets fired tomorrow or something, I really believe like we can get a spark and like you know what I mean? Like the people in the building aren't dumb. We can figure out we can get somebody else calling plays. Like, and shoot, we might take a couple teams down with us. You feel me? Just because we're that talented. But
Bro, y'all lost every game so far besides
as
one.
long
I
as
don't
Billy
even.
Ball is, bro, we don't have an FBS win.
That is so
It's
nasty.
week 5.
That
We
is
haven't even been
so
close.
nasty.
We haven't even been close.
Well, you were close against South Florida.
No, that, anyways, anyways.
Yo, y'all
I'm telling
lost
you,
to
it's
South
bad. No, I'm saying
Florida.
we can give Florida the redacted treatment. That's how bad it is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've never thought I'll see the day. I thought even if y'all are bad, but it's just because of the way it is. Like your quarterback, honestly, it
Nah,
just might be a lost cause.
I'll say
Like
DJ. He didn't play bad last week. There was just nobody was open. I watch. I'll send you it after we go off air. This film review breakdown that I always watch for the University of Florida. And there's like at least 6 or 7 clips that he posted, and and the guy's like, you be the quarterback. Like who are you throwing the ball to here?
yeah,
And it's just the route concepts are just obvious. I told you, Billy Napier is addicted to 12 personnel. Go back and watch every Florida game. There's 2 tight ends in every single situation. There's 2 tight ends. And I told you, what is the worst room in our offense? It's the tight end
tight
room.
end.
We have nothing but guys ranked in the 1000s out of high school, 3-star guys, no high like we don't have any prospects in the tight end room. We have one pretty high 4-star guy and he's more of a Kyle Pitts type. He's not like an inline blocking tight end. So like
Wow.
he doesn't even see the field anyways. So like it's just bad. It's just bad. It's just bad. And when has Florida ever been 12 personnel? That's just not our identity. We're Steve Spurrier, Urban Meyer, Dan Mullen, score points, be
Yeah, you gotta
fast.
be an 11-10.
Exactly. And again, we have the roster built for 11 and 10 personnel. We don't have the coach built for 11 and 10 personnel. And
I just don't
it's just
understand
frustrating. We've been saying this
how
all
it's
week. I
so
feel like
bad.
we're speaking 15 minutes of the same thing that we talked about last episode, and the same thing we talked about the episode before that, and the same thing we talked about last year before we went on the run before we went on the run and won those two couple games at the end of the season. So like that's the worst part about it. It's
Yeah,
the same
I don't
thing
understand how
every
bad
week.
how it's this bad. And I seen Bud Elliott say that DJ Lagway should just redshirt. What do you think about that?
He's an idiot. That
But it's not getting better. Like it's not getting better, and he's
I
not
mean,
going to develop.
these guys are
He's
competitors.
he's not
That's
going to
like
develop.
yeah. I mean, okay, you go tell DJ Lagway to take a red shirt.
I wouldn't take a red shirt. I'm if I'm playing football, I'm playing
You're
football,
playing
man.
football.
I'm just
And
bringing up the
I'm saying
argument.
97, 98% of the players that are at that level are just like you. And DJ Lagway is one of them. That's why he is who or where that's why he was where he was. You know what I mean? Obviously,
Right,
he's
right.
regressed from that point behind under Billy Napier, but I think he does have that DNA. Like he does like yeah, right. Like he even put out a guaranteed in the press conference on his little Tim Tebow. He's dumb for that because again, I can guarantee we get our ass kicked in 2 weeks. That's what I can guarantee.
What did he
But
say? What did he say that he would guarantee?
he just guaranteed that this is it's gonna turn around. He pretty much said it's gonna
Oh
things are
man,
gonna turn around, and it starts with
yeah,
him.
no.
And I mean, he said all the right things. He said exactly what he was supposed to say
Yeah.
because he's a competitor and he's a quarterback. He's supposed to be a leader and all that, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, if y'all somehow beat Texas, I think it would be
It
the
doesn't matter.
most hilarious thing to ever happen.
Yeah. And again, I don't believe it as much as I did when maybe week 1 or week 2 when I was saying this. We do have talent. Like that's why we're not losing every game 50-7 or 50-0 because like we do got guys out there and they are out there competing and playing hard and we got some good players, but we don't we don't have a collection of good players. We just have a couple of good players that are out there. So, and it's not because of the players, it's because of the coaches. So yeah,
I
tough
still
game.
think Miami should be number one or number two.
No, yeah, I mean resume wise, sure, but I'm down on Miami. I'm definitely down on Miami. Like I know Georgia will put them in the dirt. I wonder if Oklahoma will beat them. We'll talk about Oklahoma in a little bit. Let's move on now. Let's talk about your Oregon Ducks, another team I think would beat Miami. Talked about it a little bit. You guys kind of little bro, did what y'all were supposed to do, 41-7. Any thoughts on that game?
Um, yeah, man, just a complete dominant win from start to finish. Not really many complaints. I mean, we're super balanced. You know, we can run the ball almost no matter which running back is in, and we've been playing a lot of running backs so far. We can throw the ball. Dante Moore is a guy. Like honestly, I think Dante Moore might be the best quarterback in the country. And in terms of talent and play, like we haven't played anybody yet, so a lot of people aren't willing to put him in that spot. But you can just see the talent on that dude, man. He throws the ball so well. He can put it in any spot that he needs to put it in. Pause. And really just do whatever needs to be done. But like this team is just playing really well, man. The wide receiver core looked like it was going to be a weakness this year with you know Trayshawn Holden and Tez Johnson gone and Evan Stewart getting injured. But the guys that we're playing are playing really well. True freshman Decory Moore, number one receiver in his class, been balling. Malik Benson has been balling and become a super reliable target. Gary Bryant looks like more of the Gary Bryant from a few years ago, especially going back to his USC days. I mean, he looks like he's got the speed. He's catching the ball well. Um, and pretty much everybody is doing their job when their number is called. Like pretty much all our main receivers that are playing have like the equal number of catches and yards and stuff. Like that's really what I love about our offense is that you can't just key on one person and then shut down everything. Because if you try to stop the Corian, Malik Benson is going to catch the ball. You try to stop Malik Benson, Gary Bryant's going to catch the ball. So it's it's just a really efficient team right now. And then tight ends, Kenyon Sadiq is just a beast, man, just a physical freak of nature. Um, and I think one thing that's overlooked about him because of his physical talent and how fast he is and how well he catches the ball is his blocking. He's a better blocker than Terrence Ferguson, who started for us for like 3 years and is now in the NFL. Kenyon Sadiq is better, straight up. And then we got Jamar Johnson, who's a really good tight end as well. Like he can catch the ball and run and stuff like that, and he kind of gets overlooked because of Sadiq. But Jamar Johnson is also a really good player. So I'm really confident in pretty much everything about this team, and our defense didn't really let them get anything besides that one scripted drive. So we stopped the run. Um, Malik Murphy was like 5 for 18 passes, something like that. Just we wasn't letting them get anything. I mean, and that's the other thing. Our secondary looked like it was going to be a weak point. Just because we were playing so much young talent, we didn't know what it was going to be. We know we got the veteran Dylan Thieneman at safety, but other than that, everybody else is going to be a new starter. And true freshman Brandon Finney, beast. Like that guy does not look like a true freshman. It's crazy. We got two true freshmen starting in the skill positions on our team, and they look like guys that have been playing football for a long time. And Ife Obadegwu on the other side, redshirt freshman, dog. Like this secondary, I love this secondary. Everybody from Aaron Flowers to Kingston Lopa to Kennedy, um, Deron Johnson as well going in there corner, Sione Laulea, like everybody that plays has been playing well. So I'm real excited for the future, man, and we'll get into our game next week soon enough. But you know I'm real excited, man. This team has been playing really well.
Yeah, yeah, big one next week. We'll learn a lot. Any questions that you might have left about Oregon, I think will be answered next week for sure. And like you mentioned,
Facts.
we'll talk about that later on this week in our prediction show. But let's keep it moving through our recap. Florida State, they took on Kent State, handled business, as did Texas, as they beat Sam Houston. Um, and then a big one. It was a top 20 battle in the Big Ten. A game that I was very split on. Wound up giving the edge to Illinois. I actually said, I'm pretty sure on air that I said the reason I was going with Illinois is because I thought they would have the better quarterback play in this game, and I just thought they had the better quarterback in general. But man, I was I was proven wrong. That's for sure. Not that Luke Altmaier was horrible or anything, but um, Fernando Mendoza, he absolutely took over this game. I mean, Loki looked a little bit like vintage Cal. Mendoza just doing everything. Threw for 5 touchdowns. Only had 2 incompletions. Um, so that's insane. Um, just a very dominant performance by Indiana, and very shocking to be honest, because I think both of these teams' talent profiles are very similar. So to see the game be so lopsided in one direction just really goes to show how much of a coaching advantage Kirk Signetti had over Brett Bielema in this game. I mean, I think both of those guys are really good coaches, but Kirk Signetti, I didn't talk about my updated list for the Florida Gators yet. Maybe we'll do it at the end of the show before Clown of the Week, because I did update my list. I added a couple names to my list. Sig is not yet on my list, or maybe he's towards the bottom of my list. But what a guy! What a phenomenal coach! I mean, second year in a row now. Indiana's off to a super fast start. They're looking to be like a true threat and power here in the Big Ten. I mean, maybe still a step below your traditional powers like your Ohio State, your Oregon, your Penn States right now, but they're up next.
Yeah, I don't know, man. My Ducks play them after we play Penn State, and we better take them seriously because
Yeah,
if we don't play well, they're gonna win. But yeah, like I also picked Illinois in this game, and I thought it would be closer. Obviously,
for
I mean we
sure.
both thought it would be close, but
Yeah,
I definitely didn't expect that. So we gotta put some respect on Indiana, man. I mean, They look like they're right back where they were last year.
Hmm.
I think Mendoza is a better quarterback than Curtis Rourke. So, I think that this team has potential to really do some damage in the playoffs, honestly. Like if they play like that, I think a lot of teams might be in trouble. But I think there was some injuries on Illinois defense that, you know, kind of allowed Indiana to just do whatever they want and really run the score up.
Yeah,
Um, but I think even fully healthy, they probably still would have won by 20 or 30 points. So,
yeah.
like I
I
think I
mean,
think Indiana's a really good team, and I think we gotta keep them on the map, for this year.
yeah, like you mentioned, they could be a serious playoff threat. And I think I was really, um, what's the word I'm looking for? I was, I wanted them. I think I don't know what tier we put them in our tier list. Probably A. But I know I really wanted to have them in one of those higher tiers because of what they were bringing back from that team last year. So, yeah, a lot of the guys that are playing played in the playoffs last year. Yeah, they lost. It wasn't the best game for them, but they got a lot of experience. They know what it's like to win. They know what it's like to be held to that standard. And like you said, I think they're a true threat. They're dangerous for that one of those at large spots. They could really do damage in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, the way it's looking, right now, I think we've all kind of just penciled in Ohio State, Penn State, and Oregon as three teams from the Big Ten that are going to get in. But if the Big Ten gets a fourth team in, I think there's a really high chance that it's Indiana.
Yep, and I think we saw that last year. I think you guys got 4 teams last year, right? All three of those teams
I
plus Indiana.
think we did, yeah. Yep.
Yep. So I can definitely see that being on the table um, again this year, especially if they continue to play how they're playing. Let's keep it moving. Let's get into another big time matchup. Two top 25 teams in the SEC. Auburn, they travel to take on Oklahoma, where Oklahoma was able to escape with a 24-17 victory. Cam Coleman, that guy's a freak. His quarterback, on the other hand, JA, he's a mystery to me, man. He's an enigma. I feel like at times they're like, she's this guy's hella talented, dual threat. He makes stuff happen, and then other times he just looks like he's not there. Like he's AI, he's a robot or something. Uh, One thing I really want to bring up: the run game, non-existent for either team. Um, a bit more surprising for Auburn than for Oklahoma. Oklahoma, every week you talk about Oklahoma. This is something that we've brought up,
Yeah. Yeah,
and we
we've talked
continue to
about this.
say, yeah, we continue to say it's not sustainable, but they keep winning. So I mean, it's still early in the season. Obviously, you got to go through a whole season. I think they're gonna have to figure out a way to run the ball without. I mean, John Mateer leading the team in carries and yards every week. I mean, maybe he's Superman, but yeah, I don't know how reliable that is. Auburn, on the other hand, I thought they'd be able to run the ball for the most part throughout the year on most teams. Maybe not at will, but to see them 35 carries for 67 yards, Oklahoma's defense is something serious, man.
Yeah, I think
Those
that was
boys,
my biggest like
yeah. Go
flop
ahead.
in terms of the picks. Like I thought I like honestly, and it wasn't even long after I recorded. I was like, I should have picked Oklahoma because like just the more I was thinking about it, I was like Venables is going to have a defensive plan that's really going to do damage, and especially for a quarterback that played under him. He's going to know all his strengths and weaknesses and
Right.
kind of be able to shut him down. So I think when you have a team that has as much talent as Oklahoma and has a coach like Venables, you need like a really good quarterback to be able to put up points on that defense, I think. And I don't think that there's many of them in the country that are on that level. So and one of them might be John Mateer that he has. So I don't, like I feel like I should have had a better read on that game. But I mean Auburn still did have a chance to win even with the messed up call, which I want to ask you about because this is your conference, SEC refs. I mean, they 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 completely botched the call that gave Oklahoma a touchdown, and that's what they won by. So, you know, I mean, how do you feel about that as an SEC homer?
Uh, I don't think it's a horrible take. I mean, why don't you expand on that a little bit, and then I'll truly tell you how I feel.
Expand on what?
Just
The
like basically
call?
what you just said. Yeah,
Well, yeah, it was a rule where it's a rule where you're not allowed to fake a substitution, right? So that's basically what Oklahoma did, and they had a guy act like he was running off the field, but then he didn't run off the field,
oh
and
yeah, yeah, yeah. For that one touchdown, um, yeah, where he was like, okay, I do know what you're talking about. I mean, I think Syracuse also just got fined $25,000, by the ACC
faking injuries.
for faking injuries to kind of slow down the momentum, of Clemson every time they got a big play. I know Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss last year, they did that a whole bunch to the point where it was brought up at SEC Media Days, something like that, or up in the meeting. So I mean, I'm back and forth with it. Obviously, it's a little bit silly. Like line up, let's play ball. Like beat me fair and square.
The
But at the same
substitution thing
time,
is worse. The substitution thing is worse,
yeah,
in my opinion.
I can agree. It's definitely worse. I mean, I'm also one for like you also have people up in the skybox with binoculars and headsets on. Like you guys can communicate that if they see that. Like
But like, all right, so even in that moment, you gotta think there's probably like 2 seconds for someone to do that. So
that's
someone in the
true.
skybox has to tell the person on the ground, who then has to try to tell someone on the field. There's no way that they will be able to get that call in
Yeah,
that fast, especially in a loud stadium. Even if you're at home, you're not gonna be able to get that call in.
yeah. I mean, I've always been one where if you're really resorting to trick plays and trickery and stuff like that to win a game, it's because you're not the better team and you know it. You know what I mean? I don't think in
Well,
this
yeah,
case
man,
that
and
was
I think
true.
I think I think Auburn. I think these teams were pretty evenly matched. I mean, they won by one score. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it wasn't like they came out there and smacked them. So, like I did pick Auburn to win, but or I picked them to cover. And it was 6.5, but which that really sucks. But
yeah,
like I thought they could win, but this was like the game that could kind of go back and forth, and when you think about it, I mean, I'm sure there's other plays you could say it came down to
right.
this play, but it, one of them was one of the
That
most
one,
crucial plays was a fake substitution.
didn't they call one of those catches back, um, earlier on in the game too? I was on the sideline. Was it for Auburn, Oklahoma? That it was like a. Am I thinking of a different game? I don't know. I can't remember exactly. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole right now. So let's continue along then. Any final takes or thoughts about either of those two teams?
I think they're both pretty good teams, and they might be able to do some damage in the SEC. Like I still feel the same about Auburn as I did before. Like they got a lot of good players, and they just got to put it together.
Another SEC matchup. Well, definitely an old school SEC matchup when Tulane was back in the SEC. They traveled to take on Ole Miss. I think Tulane wears those SEC champ stickers on their helmets still, or something like that,
Yeah, they do.
which is hilarious.
Well, Tulane has a more recent SEC championship than Texas A&M. So
That's actually wild. But I don't think has Texas A&M even traditionally been in the SEC. I thought they were Big 12.
yeah, they were the Big 12, but they've been in the SEC for a long
Oh
time
yeah, for
now.
now, for at least what, 10 years,
Yeah,
15 years.
yeah, it's
Um,
been like 15 years at this point.
yeah. But yeah, Tulane they travel to take on Ole Miss. A lot of people like myself thought maybe this could be a game that gave Ole Miss some trouble, especially with Ole Miss loving to play close games against teams that they probably shouldn't be playing close games against. But Ole Miss they put it all together. They coasted to a win, 45-10. Um, Not much of a sweat broken there. Same for Tennessee. They spanked UAB 56-24, bouncing back after that heartbreaking loss to Georgia last week. Another top 20 matchup. Let's get into it. This time in the Big 12, Texas Tech traveling to Utah, and shocking a lot of people, shocking myself to be honest. Me and you, we both chose Utah to cover. We did put the caveat. I think we both put the caveat that we weren't super confident in it as we didn't know much about Texas Tech yet. Obviously, we heard a lot about them. There's a lot of hype coming into the season about this roster and what it was capable of. But I hadn't, I didn't really know what to think of it or on the actual field yet. Utah, obviously, under Kyle Whittingham, has been a pretty consistent product um, throughout his tenure and has looked pretty good so far this year. So that's why I was leaning with Utah. But it was a slow start for Utah and for Texas Tech, to be honest. Morton, he threw two interceptions before he got hurt, and I put this in my notes. You think Utah wins if Charlie Morton plays the whole game or Bear Morton? Sorry, not Charlie Morton.
Mm,
I think they
I
might
don't
have a
think so.
chance because I think Hammond came in, and I think Texas Tech did a great job, helping him and making his life easier. His 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 wide receivers were making crazy catches. His O line was giving him plenty of time, but the backup came in and he looked like he was ready. Hammond was balling out.
I don't
Um,
did that. The reason why I don't think Utah wins is because their offense still didn't do a damn thing.
yeah, that is a good point. The offense looked very lethargic, and I'm gonna say their defense looked pretty soft too. They were missing tackles left and right on defense.
Yeah,
They did not look like a physical, dominant Utah defense that I'm used to seeing. But yeah, talk about their offense because this was definitely a tough game for Dampier and crew.
yeah, man. Utah, they just don't have any wide receivers. Like some of these
Yeah,
teams, and we're talking about another team that don't have no wide receivers too. But yeah, I think that's a problem. Um, so
yeah.
I
Then there
think
was
I
a
think
big
at this
talent
point,
difference in this
yeah,
game. You
yeah,
saw it.
I think at this point we're gonna have to just pencil in Texas Tech as one team in the Big 12 title game, and then I don't know who's gonna be playing with them because I can't even say Utah's gonna rematch with the way it looked because if they play another good team, I mean the same thing might happen.
Yeah, I mean, with Will Hammond in the game, he went 13 for 16, 169 yards, two touchdowns. Baron Morton, he went 12 for 19, 142 yards, and two interceptions. So Will Hammond was clearly the better quarterback. I don't know what that quarterback situation is going to look like moving forward or going forward. Um, but man, Texas Tech, they look good. The hype looked like it was for a good reason. And I think Texas Tech can really become a true player again in college football um, if they continue to snowball and help the season, finish strong because I know they got a lot of money to spend. They're in Texas. They can get a lot of talent and they can really run that conference now that the Big 12 is new, it's open, it's looking for new top teams and contenders. I think Texas Tech could really rise if they capitalize on this opportunity that they have in front of them this year. But Iowa State's good, Arizona State's good. That conference is still not going to be a cakewalk just because they got one win over Utah. Um, Georgia Tech, they beat Temple 45-24. While Vanderbilt got their revenge against Georgia State 70-21. Look at Vandy dropping 70 on teams. Yeah, it's Georgia State, G5, whatever. Doesn't matter. Salute to Vandy. Um, let's keep it moving though. Let's talk a little bit about Michigan taking on Nebraska as the Wolverines were able to escape with a victory 30-27. Although similar to that Florida Miami game, the score was a little bit closer than the game actually indicated. I thought Nebraska, man, they just looked a tier below Michigan in all three phases, talent wise, just in every aspect. They just looked like they were not on the same level as Michigan, and that's crazy because I don't think Michigan right now is on the same level as the top tier teams. I think Michigan is obviously still Michigan, and they're clearly in that next tier below the top tier teams, or maybe they're at the bottom of the top tier. But Nebraska is, I don't think they're close to that yet, which is crazy to say and crazy to see. As I thought finally this would be the year Nebraska were to break through. This was a great opportunity at home. Uh, Bryce Underwood, obviously, he's getting more experience week in and week out, but still pretty unexperienced in the grand scheme of things. But I don't know, Michigan, they're able to run the ball pretty much at will. and that helps your young quarterback, makes him feel more confident because it just opens up the passing game. He made a couple big throws. He had a couple big runs himself. He's really feeling himself. And then Raiola, he made a couple of plays as well when he had time, but his O line didn't give him time throughout the game. I mean, they were just getting beat up on all game long. I mean, Michigan's defense just, again, they gave up 27 points, but it didn't really feel that way. And one of the points, I think the Hail Mary at halftime made the game closer than it actually was. Like it would
Yeah.
have been 17-10 going into half, and then Michigan would have kind of pulled away in the third quarter, and it would have been 27-10 before you know it, blowout. But I think that seven spot at the end of the half kind of kept Nebraska in it, and I put air quotes up.
I'm tired of Dylan Rayola.
Not feeling them.
No, I'm not really feeling Nebraska either. I'm gonna be honest, but I will
I
say
don't think
this:
Riley was that bad, but he's
I
annoying.
don't think he's that bad, but yeah, like I just don't think that team is that bad. I think they're a slightly above average team. Like they're a 7-5
Yeah, they just okay.
type of team in the Big Ten. You
Well,
know,
I was actually listening to. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I was listening to a Clay Travis clip. Yeah, Clay Travis. Don't know how that got on my TL. Anyways,
yeah, I was about
um,
to say what?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I should have. I don't know. But he made a good point. That's that. This is, a broken clock is right twice a day as well. But he mentioned that he doesn't think Nebraska should be in the Big Ten. He said that they made the wrong choice, and I fully
They
agree. I
should
think
be in the Big
Nebraska.
12.
Yeah, he said that Nebraska should be in the SEC. He's bugging out of his mind,
Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
but yes, Nebraska should be in the Big 12. 100. That
They need
they
to go
were in the Big
back to the
12,
Big
right?
12. Yeah,
Yeah, go back to the Big 12. That is way more in line with the teams that they're on the level on. And he also was just talking about his whole point was rivalries, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, Nebraska should join the SEC so they could play Texas and Oklahoma and all
no,
their old rivals
their
from back in the
rival is
day."
like Colorado.
But that's my point. The rival is Colorado and Iowa teams and Kansas
Yeah,
teams, Kansas State. So like, yeah, send him to the Big 12. They would actually be able to compete in their conference, recruit uh, that area of the country, recruit Cali, recruit Texas like they were doing when they were in their prime of Nebraska. And I think they would truly be back. I think in the Big Ten, they're just in purgatory. Like they're never going to be able to recruit as well as the big
especially with
dogs
Oregon joining.
because
Like,
exactly because
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but
no, you're
you
right.
know, even Washington, like if Washington has a good coach, they can out recruit them as well, and USC as well.
Yeah,
Like there's
I,
just way more competition now.
yeah. Nebraska is just unfortunately Nebraska is a small flyover state. Not a lot of talent. Um, and they don't have to compete with anybody else when they do get talented kids in the state, but they have to recruit nationally. And unfortunately, when you recruit nationally, that means you're going to recruit against the big dogs who are also
Yeah,
recruiting nationally. And you're not going to win many of those recruiting battles. And you're going to be stuck with scraps. And then you're going to look like you're out talented on Saturdays against Michigan,
yeah,
like
and
they
I
were.
even heard someone talking about a different school, but they were basically just saying how since they're the biggest name in the state, they don't
Yeah.
have to recruit against another
LSU,
team.
that's why LSU will always be good.
Right, right. So you know, like yeah, exactly. Like you have LSU, but contrast that with like Texas, where there's other big teams in the state.
Florida,
Obviously, none of them are on that level. Florida is another good
Alabama,
example. Alabama, you got Bama and
Cali,
Auburn. Yeah, exactly. So you know, Nebraska is also a state where there's only one big
one
team,
school.
but like at the same time, it's like, well, that state doesn't have a lot of talent, right? Where
Right.
a state like Florida, yeah, there's three big teams in the state, but they also have so much talent, and those teams also
Right.
recruit nationally. So,
Correct.
you know, they're able to pretty much get all good players, but you know, Nebraska isn't really able to recruit like that. So it's just tough, man. And you know, I agree. I think they need to be in the Big 12. I mean, I still think Texas and Oklahoma should be in the Big 12 as well, but um, you know, just when
I
you look
agree.
at those caliber teams, even more, it's even more apparent now. You know, if they were in the Big 12 without Texas and Oklahoma. that I think Nebraska should be there because yeah, it's just tough. Like you're competing against like Kansas, Kansas State, Iowa, Iowa State, like you said, you know, for guys, Oklahoma State. Um, you're not competing against Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Ohio State. You're just not.
Yeah. I think they're kind of stuck too. Unfortunately, I think you know they are where they are. They maybe down the road, free alignment strikes again, but yeah, I think it's tough for them. A couple teams in the Big Ten are like that, which is pretty unfortunate. But things could change. Nebraska has a big donor base, fan base. If somebody decides to start slinging money around, and who knows? But yeah, I think fundamentally, foundationally, they're at a bit of a disadvantage. So kind of hard to blame them. I think they are what they are, like you said. If they win 8 games, 9 games, you should be pretty happy because that's pretty much what they have on their roster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's continue along through these matchups. This next matchup I want to talk about is an SEC battle between South Carolina and Missouri. A game that we were going to pick, but then we were like, nah, Lenore Sellers isn't playing. So it should be a pretty easy win for Missouri. But then I think last minute, Lenore Sellers was activated. He did play, but didn't really help much. I mean, again, this was a close score, I guess. Missouri wins by 9, 20-29. But again, after the beginning of the game, when South Carolina kind of jumped out to that fast start, Missouri kind of took over and kind of coasted to a win towards the end of the game. Um, South Carolina, are you ready for this stat, Stefan?
Hmm.
22 carries for -9 yards.
Jesus.
Now, now, I will say, minus 28 of those yards, -28 of those yards are Lenore Sellers sack yards. So if you take those sack yards away, they gained a whopping 19 yards on 22 carries. So not much better, to be honest. But yeah, that's just not going to cut it, especially when Missouri rushes for 285 yards. Um, but Privula, he wasn't great in this game, but he did enough, and they got a lot from their run game. South Carolina, they are another team, very very disappointing. Um, Again, I had them or Oklahoma as my potential sleeper SEC team to make the playoffs. I think I kind of hit when it came to Oklahoma, but I totally missed with the South Carolina. They're not good at all. Think that's deep
Yeah, they're
or you
pretty
think
disappointing. They're a pretty disappointing team. I agree. I agree. I think Oklahoma is good, and I think South Carolina is
you think
not
South
even
Carolina is
close.
like they have like a talent issue, a coaching issue? What do you think it is for South Carolina?
I think South Carolina is probably more talent than coaching.
Right.
I think it's just hard to really get good players. I mean, you have a quarterback who can't really throw the ball that well. You don't really have any good wide receivers. I know you got Harvard who's fast, but
He's not good.
yeah, he's not really good.
I think if he like goes to a good NFL team that has like a good development system, he can turn into like he's a size and speed guy. So of course, any guy that has the physical gifts like that will be a decent wide receiver if
Right.
he can get developed a little bit. But yeah, I don't think he's anything more than like DK Metcalf or at his ceiling or something
I
like
don't
that.
even think.
He's
I
not.
feel like
Yeah,
he's not even close to
he's not
DK
even close to
Metcalf
that. But I'm saying, yeah, if he is able
because
to,
DK Metcalf was a really good wide receiver in college.
yeah, I didn't think he was that great, but yeah, he was better than Nick Harbor was. He was more productive. I'll say that
Yeah, yeah.
for sure. Um, let's keep it moving. Notre Dame they beat Purdue 56-30, and USC they beat Michigan State 45-31. Memphis they announced crazy comeback to beat Arkansas 32-31. That was a very entertaining game. Um, Arky, that's tough. That's tough. But you know, SEC losing to G5, it's not the first time that's happened this year. What has happened? What has happened to the mighty SEC? how they have
It's
fallen.
a soft conference, man. I've been trying to tell you. You don't want to listen. It's a soft
Bro, they
conference.
just got soft. They just started getting players with nail polish and making TikToks.
Hey, man, you said it, not me. They doing TikToks. They dancing,
Uh, yeah,
painting their
SEC.
nails down there.
Yeah, they doing a lot of stuff that ain't.
I thought I would expect that from California. I wouldn't expect that
Yeah.
from down in the southeast.
And look, it's everybody. It's not just like one school. You got players on Alabama doing it. You got I'll say the one school that I don't really see much from, unfortunately, is Kirby Smart's Devil Magic and the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah,
I don't see much TikTokery coming out of the University of Georgia. They have other issues um, when it comes to their
yeah, they
program.
definitely have other issues. So I mean, in one regard, I guess I'd rather take the TikToks.
Yeah, definitely would rather take the TikToks, but I mean, when you're talking about like personality makeup and how people are, usually people that make TikToks are a bit softer than people that are drag racing in the streets.
Oh my god.
So
Oh
who
my
knows? Who
god.
knows? Let's keep it moving, man. Let's keep it moving. Maryland, Maryland, Malik Washington. What a player, by the way. Retro freshman or true freshman? Do you know?
True freshman, I'm pretty sure.
Woo! Yeah, that kid's a baller. I would love to see him stay at Maryland and just play at Maryland, but he seems
You
like
know
one of
where
those
he's
guys that'll
going.
be in the that are what?
So you know where he's going.
Yeah, he seems like he's gonna be a portal guy. Um, but he's a freak. He's a great player. What an arm! A little bit smaller, but still a great player. Maryland 4-0. Maybe secret Big Ten dark horse. Not actually, but maybe they'll beat a big team, get a good upset this year somewhere down the road or something. Who knows? Shout out to Maryland. Um, all right. Might be talking about Florida getting the redacted treatment. Clemson, they might have to get it too. Although they're not as bad as Florida. They lose to Syracuse 34-21, um, which I think is a pretty bad loss because me and you,
It's a horrible loss.
yeah, me and you both, again, we like Syracuse, but we don't think they're good this year, or we don't think they're as good as they were last year. Um,
Yeah.
and so to
But you know what's
lose,
crazy? They
go ahead.
still might go bowling. They still might go bowling,
Oh, for
even
sure.
even though their quarterback tore his Achilles, because they beat Clemson, which is a game no one expected them to win.
Yep.
So they don't even have to like win all they're supposed to
Nope.
win games for the rest of the
Exactly.
season.
Because they got a +1 now. They're
Hmm.
playing with some house money. I agree. This was a huge win for Syracuse. Uh, I would say honestly, a signature win for Fran Brown. I mean, just clearly
Absolutely.
outclassed when it comes to talent. On the road, Clemson, a desperate team that just desperately needs a win, and so did Syracuse. And here they are, 1-0 in the ACC, 3-1 on the season with the big win over Clemson. Obviously, this is not the Clemson of 10 years ago. Um, it's not even the Clemson of 5 years
Not even
ago.
close.
Yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and act like Syracuse are world beaters now for beating this Clemson team, but still a fantastic win and a
Yeah, it's
bad
an
loss.
absolutely great win.
What are
I
you thinking
mean,
about?
Clemson
Go ahead. Yeah,
is
I would
just,
say talk about Clemson, man, because I want to hear your Clemson takes.
yeah, Clemson, they're an average ACC team. They are an average ACC team. Notice how I'm not even saying average team, like an average Power Four team. They're an average ACC team. That means they will be below average in the Big Ten or the SEC. They will be below average. Bro, they lost to Georgia Tech and lost to Syracuse. Come on, bro. Like we
Yeah, that's
know
crazy.
that Fran Brown's a good coach. Like his team is well coached. They don't do a lot of dumb stuff, but they just don't really have that many good players.
And
But you
and
have,
how could
but
you at Syracuse? It's hard to get good players down
right,
there.
it's
I
just
mean,
it's hard. It's hard. But Clemson, you have a coach who has been outspoken about how he doesn't want players to get paid and how he doesn't want to use the portal and things like that. And it's like, well, this is what happens because guess what? On a team like Syracuse, a lot of their players are going to be from the portal. Like their quarterback, where's he from? The portal. Your wide receiver, Jonte Cook, who had over 100 yards against you, the portal. And I'm sure there's others as well. So, like you got to get with the times, man. Like I feel like Dabo might be on that Billy Napier trajectory this year because it's not getting better. And when you have a team like Clemson that, we've all been telling them, oh, you're one of the most talented teams and you should win the ACC, and a lot of people are picking them to win the national championship, and it's like, well, now you're sitting here at 1-3. If you keep playing like that, you're not going to go bowling. Um, and it's really not going to happen if this team quits, which they very well might quit. I just think it would take a coach like Nick Saban to get a team to turn it around after a 1-3 start with these circumstances. Because, like I said, it's like, well, all offseason, these guys are being told how good they are, and then they fell flat on their face before the season was a month over. And, at this point, you're not winning the ACC. You already have two conference losses. You have three losses on the year. You're most likely not making the playoffs. Even if they won out, I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they have any more chances for like a signature win because I don't know if they play Florida State or Miami or anybody like that. So I think this team is in trouble, man. I really do.
Yes, they are. Trouble indeed.
Because well, they do play Florida State, and that's about it as far as a signature win. So I mean, they would need a miracle to make the playoffs if they finished the season 9-3. But I don't even think that's going to happen. SMU, like if they play like that, SMU can beat them, Duke can beat them, Louisville can beat them, and South Carolina can beat them if they look like they've been looking. So,
Yeah.
and you know what else I think? What if this team just ain't even that good? What if they really ain't even that talented?
Yeah, it's true.
Because we've seen what talented Clemson looks like. Because we know what players those are, and those are players like DeAndre Hopkins and even Mike Williams and Justin Ross and um corners like Mackenzie Alexander and who else? That D line from those years, Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, like that's what talented Clemson looks like. None of these people on this team look like that. There's no wide receiver that scares you. There's no running back that scares you. Your quarterback is mediocre. Your defense isn't even that good. I don't understand why we keep saying this team is so talented when there's no player that jumps out to you on film.
Yeah.
Like like just be honest. Is there any player on this team that jumps out to you?
Yeah. I mean, I'll say like I was a big advocate. I thought their wide receiver corps was very talented. I thought they were going to have a chance to honestly have three 1,000-yard receivers or close to it with Antonio Williams, T.J. Moore, and Brian Westco. But it just is not there. Like you said, when you're watching the games, when Clemson needs a play, you really don't have a go-to guy. It feels like. I mean, Brian Westco, I think, is the closest one to it, but even then, he's not super dynamic, or at least not in this offense right now. I mean, obviously that could be some part of coaching and other things, but I'd have to agree. And then on in the running back wise, I definitely don't fear any of them. They got that one pretty big running back who they converted from a wide receiver. I forget his name. He's decent, but he's not. Again,
Yeah. Yeah, and
he's
they can
not
be, and their running back is a
someone you
is a
fear.
converted wide receiver. And I'm
Yeah,
glad you brought up coaching because I think that's a big part, probably the main part where
was
you
it
look
Garrett
at
Riley?
Clemson for all those years. Yeah, he's the OC now, but when you think about what they've had for basically about a decade, I forgot who their OC was, but Brent Venables was the DC, and those guys stuck with Dabo for a
The
really
black
long time.
was it the black OC? Um, what's his name? I'll find it. Go ahead, keep talking about it.
Yeah, like Dabo really had some amazing coordinators for about a decade, and that's why Clemson was able to win. And without them, they just haven't looked the same. I think we've just seen a decline over the years. So yeah, like this doesn't really.
Tony Elliott,
I think so. Yeah, I think that was his
and
name.
he had Chad Morris,
That was his
right?
name. Yeah.
Well, Billy Napier was the offensive coordinator one year, and that's when he punched Dabo in the face.
Wait, what year was that?
20. I don't
He
know.
punched Dabo in the face?
You don't know that story?
Nah, I
You're gonna
didn't
have
know
to
that story.
look up that story. I'm pretty sure he punched Dabo in the face.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I would punch Dabo in the face.
Bleacher Report. What happened between Clemson coaches Dabo Swinney and Billy Napier?
2018.
This was
What the
2018.
hell? I mean, yeah, I wasn't really that tapped in like back then in terms of like coaches and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh well,
They're
this
saying
is
that they're saying that Dabo used to change up to 25 of Napier's calls per game, and that during Clemson's final drive of the Maryland game back in 2018, Dabo signaled a different call from Napier and didn't change the protection scheme, which resulted in a sack. And I think that kind of blew up after the game. And a lot
Oh
of
my
times
god.
Napier is even unaware that Dabo is even changing the call. So they had a lot of beef. That's how bad. I mean, by the way, every single place when Napier was the offensive coordinator at Arizona State, when he was I think actually he was the one year he was at Arizona State at OC. I think he was decent, or he was there for 2 years. The first year they had a decent offense. The second year they had a horrible offense. Louisiana, when he was there, they didn't have a great offense either. So when
But
you
I
look
thought he
back
was
at
supposed
it,
to be an offensive mind.
he is supposed to be offensive mind.
So
That's
why did they hire him if he didn't even have a good offense at Louisiana? I know they had a good record, but
yeah, I just told you
it's
the people.
still
The Gator
a
admin is not serious, man. I don't. We'll just keep going. So I'm gonna get into a whole rabbit hole. But yeah, Dabo got punched in the face by uh by Napier. But yeah, like you
well.
said,
This was back in mind.
generally he's had good coordinators.
This was back in this would have been back in like '09 or 2010. That was back when Billy Napier was Clemson's OC.
Yeah.
So yeah, it
So
makes sense why I wouldn't know that.
I think I only know about it because Napier is my coach, and there was a story about I don't know a podcast talking about it or something. I don't remember, but let's keep it moving. Sad days for Clemson. Sad days for a few top brands that used to be mighty and have fallen. Um, SMU, they lose to TCU 24-35. TCU's looking good, man.
Yeah, TCU is solid.
They're solid for sure. Sonny Dykes got himself a team this year. Could definitely be a player in the Big 12 this year.
Yep.
Um, as they beat a pretty solid SMU team. SMU obviously definitely taking a step back from where they were last year, but I don't think they're terrible. I think they're still a decent out, and I'll respect TCU for this one. I thought this was a good one. Um, the Fighting Dan Mullins narrowly escaped victory over Miami, Ohio, 41-38. So UNLV still 4-0, still on their quest to be that G5 representative. Although obviously Memphis is looking good right now. I know Tulane just lost this past week, so that is still up for grabs. What else do we have? So we talked about it. Central beat North Carolina 34-9. Belt to ass. Scott Frost said, "Please call us by our government."
I was in the bounce house for that one.
How was the vibes? How was the energy? How was the game?
Man, it was lit, man. The bounce house, they do a great job with the games over there. They have a good fan base and their tailgate is pretty nice. Everything is the campus doesn't seem like it's that big, so everything is kind of centralized, and I think it works out really well. Because everybody is just together. Whether it's the students, the fans, like everybody is kind of just right there. So it really makes for a great environment. There's like a street that they shut down right at the stadium on game day that there's like a bunch of restaurants and stores and stuff where everybody walks down. going in and out the stadium. It's just real nice over there. I rock with UCF.
Yeah, they lost to Billy Napier though, so they should be ashamed. They're not a serious program.
Well, they
Well,
got the
actually,
Frost man back,
I
so
was about
you
to say they
know,
got Frost now. Frost hasn't lost to Billy, so
nah,
in
and
some respect,
he just beat Billy, the other Billy William Belichick.
Chapel Biddle.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you seen him in his little the
I
shorty.
didn't see her. She was out there, but I couldn't see from where I was on the UCF side, so I wasn't
Worried about
looking
none of that.
right
You there
there.
for the football, man. You there for the
Yeah,
football.
yeah, I wasn't looking for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
little
yeah.
girl, man. Bro, like it's crazy because she's like younger than us. Like,
That's wild.
bro, was we even in high school at the same time?
I mean,
Come on, man.
that's crazy.
What are we doing?
Let's keep it moving though. Some ACC action. A game that I was pretty confident NC State was going to take that win over Duke, but man, Duke adjusted well, especially at halftime, and was able to close out that game 45-33. Pretty good game, man. CJ Bailey, he struggled a little bit in this one through three interceptions that really kind of hurt NC State in this game. But I think Duke, like I said, I think they made some really good halftime adjustments, um, and were able to really slow down that offense in the second half and just kind of pull away and coast to that victory. Um, Kansas, they beat West Virginia 41-10 to open up Big 12 play for both of those teams. Not the ideal start for Rich Rod as he returns to West Virginia, but Kansas,
Makes
on the other
sense.
hand, they look like they have bounced back from their horrendous year that they had this past one. Looking good this year so far. Looking good. What else do we got here? In the Apple Cup, Washington beats Washington State to no one's surprise, 49-24. Judd Fisk got his boys rolling, 3-0. Big one coming up. As I think they got who do they play this upcoming week? Ohio State at home. Maybe not this. They have a bye week and then Ohio State. So big game for Washington in a couple weeks as your rivals look to do something this season.
I ain't doing a goddamn thing.
Arizona State, they beat Baylor in a barn burner, bouncing back after that loss, opening up Big 12 play, 1-0. Did you get a chance to check this game out?
No.
It was a good one, man. Pretty much exactly how we thought it was going to be. Pretty physical, pretty solid football game all around. Um, Arizona State, I think they were just the slightly better team. They ran the ball well. I think that definitely helped, but Sam Levitt, that guy's a beast. But shout out to Sawyer Robertson. He's been balling out. I think that game against Auburn was a really good get right game for him, and I think Baylor's still dangerous. 2-2 on the season, but two tough losses. Can't really blame them. Arizona State, they are exactly what we thought they were, though. I think they'll be okay. Um, Couple more games left to talk about. Not really. San Diego State, they upset Cal 34-0.
Yeah, what the hell happened?
I was asleep, so I didn't watch, but
I was just like, I was getting ready to make my Cal ACC champions take, and then they get freaking stomped like that by San Diego State.
yeah, I see JKS threw two picks. They only ran the ball for 65 yards on 31 carries, so interceptions and no run game, that's definitely
A
a
recipe for
recipe for
disaster.
disaster. Yeah, exactly. So, shout out to San Diego State. Defense showed up, did some things. All right, that is it then for our week 4 recap. It was a good week, a lot of good action, and it's setting us up perfectly for a big, explosive week 5. Super excited for that. Um, Steph, why don't you do you have a clown of the week?
I got two clowns of the week actually.
Okay, you get your clown of the week ready before we transition to that. Let's talk a little bit about my Gator list. I got a couple updates to my list. I added a few coaches to who I would like to see as the next coach at the University of Florida. And now, I've said this before and I'll say this again. I don't want another G5 coach. I don't want an up and comer. I think there are good up and comers out there who have coached at smaller programs and may have a chance at being successful at the university or at the Power Four level. But I don't want that at the University of Florida. I want somebody established. I need somebody that has coached at a power program and has had success. First two names, first three names are new. First name, I'm backing on Lane Kiffin. You know, I got a love hate relationship with Lane. Good old Lane.
That's a
I don't
bad
know, man.
idea.
There's some weeks I'm just like watching Ole Miss, and I'm just like, I would hate to watch this be the University of Florida. And then there's other weeks where I'm just like, Lane really would be a great fit. He's from Florida. Monty Kiffin, his dad, legendary coach for the Bucks. A lot of relationships in that part of the country. Been coaching the SEC now for plenty of years. Good offense. Figured out how to have a good defense recently while he's been at Ole Miss. So I wouldn't hate that, but um, yeah, I like Lane. And two other names that I added this week, two brand new names. They actually played against each other, and you're gonna laugh. But first name, Fran Brown. Second name, Dabo Swinney. Both of these teams, or both of those names, both of those guys, I think would be great fits to lead the University of Florida. I think Fran Brown is a
Why would you
fantastic.
want Dabo?
Just give me a second. Let me cook with Fran first, and then I'll talk to you about Dabo. Fran, obviously, fantastic recruiter, one of the best recruiters in the country. He has that Gator logo on his chest. I think he would be able to do wonderful things on the trail. Um, he's he's showing now here at Syracuse. He's able to put together rosters and get those rosters to play above maybe their level, even if they're not great. Um, I I just think he would be a good fit at Florida. Um, he has a great mindset. I just like a lot of things that Fran Brown is about. He'd be dope. Experience coaching at Georgia in the SEC, a whole bunch of other stuff. And then Dabo. Dabo, I just feel like Dabo is not done yet. And he said it. He said it multiple times. I think in his press conference 2 weeks ago, he said, "You guys can fire me, sure, but then I'm gonna just go somewhere else and I'm gonna win." And that I love to hear that. I love to hear that he's not dejected. Like he might be a little bit confused as to what's going on in the current world of college football, but it doesn't seem like he's not interested in continuing to coach. Now, I think if you tell me, well, Dabo Swinney is never going to change his philosophies and he's just going to do what he did at Clemson at Florida, I still don't necessarily think that would be a horrible thing because I mean he won the ACC 8 of the last 10 years. Don't think he's going to win. That doesn't mean he's going to come in the SEC and win the SEC 8 of the last 10 years, but I think he'll get us to a 9, 10 wins, and then hopefully our talent can get us over the hump. My hope though is that with a change of scenery, with new administration, it just revitalizes Dabo. It just gives them, a lot of times that's what people need. They just need a breath of fresh air. The grass isn't always greener, but maybe in this situation it is. And Dabo comes to the University of Florida. He wants to start using the portal now. He gets excited, and he's still one of the top coaches, still one of the only active coaches to win a national championship. I don't think he would be a bad fit at the University of Florida. And put it like this: if Dabo told me he wanted to come to Florida tomorrow, I would take it. I would. I really would.
I
So,
wouldn't take Dabo, bro.
I mean,
He's
you
a
have Dan
dude that's
Lanning, so I wouldn't take Dabo if I had Dan Lanning either.
no. I'm saying if I was Florida, I would not take Dabo because that man, bro. I literally just told y'all this man was vocal about not wanting to pay players, and he refused to use the portal. Look at
Again,
him.
again, I would not take him if that is going to be the case. But I think if he came to the University of Florida, I think that would change.
Like if he doesn't want to use the portal, I don't think
I can agree with that take.
I don't think that's going to change though.
I agree.
I really don't think that's going to change. Lane Kiffin, I'm iffy on Lane Kiffin. I feel like he's just a name everybody throws out there whenever they bring up head coaching jobs. I don't know. Like I think he would take the job because Florida is just a better job than Ole Miss. But I feel like it might be a bad idea because Ole Miss is never going to fire him. Like he's pretty much doing as well as you can do with Ole Miss.
Yeah, he is.
So I don't know if that would even be a good decision on his part. But
Well, it depends on
um
what he wants to do because he like you
right.
said he's maxed out Ole Miss. Like if he wants to compete and be a national title contender,
Yeah, you gotta go to
it's going to
Florida.
be hard to do that at Ole Miss. But if
Yeah,
you
you
come to
gotta go to
Florida,
Florida.
you would have a better. I mean, obviously Florida hasn't been that team that program in a while, but again, we have a better chance than we're built better to do it than Ole Miss. Real quick, one other name that I added, I still have Dillingham on my list, still have Brett Key on my list. Um,
You don't got Jed Fish.
Not yet. I think I don't expect him to win that Ohio State game in a couple weeks, but I want to see it still play out more. I would love for a Gator to be our coach. So like because of that, he is definitely in consideration in my mind. Um, but I want to see it. I mean, again, if he goes to Arizona, he started winning pretty fast. Now he's at Washington, and again, they have a good year this year. Yeah, I'll be all about it. But again, I want to see it play out first. I'm not totally sold on Jed Fisk yet, although I do think he's an option. Clark Lee is a name that I was going to add. Current coach for Vanderbilt. He's doing it right now. I mean, he's built Vanderbilt up to be more than respectable. I mean, Vanderbilt's not just oh wow, look at Vandy. They don't play trash ball. Vandy is out now. You got to show up to play Vandy. They beat South Carolina. They just dropped 70 on the team. Like they are a solid program. He's using the portal well. He's recruiting well at Vanderbilt. I mean, recruiting well for Vandy. He's not recruiting well relative to the rest of the country. But I mean, again, he's at Vandy. I think all he has everything you want in a head coach, um, and I think that's the team is a reflection of him. I think all these it's like that for every team. And
Facts.
if you look at every coach I just named, you look at all their teams outside of Clemson right now. I think these are all teams that I would love Florida to emulate at one point. Now, obviously, maybe at a little bit of a higher level than a Syracuse, right? But I think if Florida is playing Fran Brown football with higher level talent, come on now. I think that's dangerous. I think same with Clark Lee and a few of the other guys. So those are just a few names. There's plenty of other names. I mentioned Rhett Lashley. Obviously, there's the big fish that you got to make them say no, who you just give a phone call. Obviously, they're going to say no. Your Marcus Freeman is going to say no. Your Dan Lanning is going to say no. But you always call those guys anyways. But those names that I listed, I think are the most realistic guys that would be willing to listen and potentially at programs that they could leave and maybe upgrade at with the University of Florida. So besides maybe Dabo again, Clemson, Florida, he could do everything he wants at Clemson. He's just choosing not to for whatever philosophy reasons that he believes. But yeah, so that's my Gator list version 2.0. I'll update this list as I feel necessarily needed, and I'll bring it up on the shows when I do update it. But um, yeah, let's transition to everybody's favorite segment. It's Clown of the Week. All right, Steph, take it away. Who is your clown of the weeks or two clowns of the week?
So my first clown of the week is the softest conference in college football called the Southeastern Conference. And they are this week's clown of the week because of that scheduling model that they released.
Oh, true. I'm glad you brought that up because we didn't talk about that. I can pull up. there's so many teams in the SEC. It would be so much to go through every team right now. But
Well,
go
I
ahead, talk
have
about your
I
pick.
have the I have the post with
Yeah,
all of the annual opponents on it, so you can
good,
just see
good,
it
good.
real quick. Um, yeah, like I just don't understand how we have some of these teams not playing certain teams every year. I mean, you have Georgia not even playing Tennessee every year. Um, you have Florida not even playing LSU every year. I mean, is there anything I'm missing? Um, I don't understand how something like this happens. Like
Um,
it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you know, some of the most important games, Florida LSU, like yeah,
Alabama
Florida got to play
LSU is not
Georgia.
not happening.
Yeah, that is ridiculous.
Well, here's what I'll
Alabama
say. Here's what
LSU.
I'll say. All these games can still happen. Like Florida might play Tennessee next year. Like we
Well, yeah,
still
they're
have
still gonna
6.
happen, but
Right.
some like Georgia Tennessee needs to happen every year. Period.
Agreed. Agreed.
Period.
I also saw that this is only for the next 4 seasons. That after 4 seasons, these permanent opponents will be changing again.
Right.
Um, but yeah,
So it's
I
all
definitely
hope is not lost, but
no, I
for the
definitely
immediate
agree.
future,
Um, I think really what it was is they were trying to make it as balanced as possible. I
yeah,
mean,
they definitely were trying to put some good programs and bad programs together.
yeah, because Florida should play Georgia, Tennessee, and LSU every year.
Yeah.
Those should be our 3 teams. Now, obviously, as a Gator fan, that's a tough draw. I mean, those are 3 of the best teams in the SEC usually throughout the
Right.
year.
Right.
Obviously, Tennessee they're better now than they were over the past couple years, um, but yeah, I still would much rather keep those traditional rivalries intact than play South Carolina and Kentucky every year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely think there is definitely some issues, but I kind of think that was bound to happen when you were moving to a model like this. I think it was kind of inevitable to some point. Like some teams, because if you did it that way, then certain teams would have really easy schedules every year, and certain teams would have, and then the competitive balance would be a little bit off. So like it's just
Yeah.
some sacrifices. Like some things are going to be better, and some things are going to be worse, and we just gonna have to kind of roll with the punches. But I'm still hoping that by the next time these permanent opponents come back around, there's still a better way to do it. Because like you said, like you could have still kept the competitive balance and had some of these matchups stay um, relative. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because some of this stuff doesn't make sense. And still, some of these teams got straight up screwed. I mean, Arkansas, they got to play Missouri, Texas, and LSU every year. Now, Missouri, they've only been good recently under Eli Drinkowitz, but they're good right now. That's 3 top 25, top 15 teams you got to play every year. Same with Oklahoma, Missouri, Ole Miss, Texas. So like they weren't able to fully avoid it. So I don't. I think they could have definitely just tried to keep as many traditional rivalries as possible, which I think they did a decent job of, but they could have done better.
Yes, that was really my first entry for clown of the week. And my second entry for clown of the week is another clown conference. This is the ACC, the All Clown Conference. That is because somehow they have two teams on the Pacific Coast in that conference, but that's not why they're clown of the week. They're clown of the week because they announced that they are moving to a 9 game schedule. Now you might be asking, well, that's a good thing, right? Like, why is that clown behavior? Well, it's clown behavior because in this conference they have 17 teams. So that means if they want to have a 9 game schedule, one of the teams has to play 8 games. Now, if that's not stupid, then I don't know. I just
That is dumb. I didn't realize that.
I just don't get it. So like now we just have to get into a scenario of like what if the 8 game team like goes 8-0 in conference and then you have a team that's 8-1, like which team gets to go to the ACC championship?
Yeah, yeah, that's weird. That's why, unfortunately, as much as I would hate to lose them, I think conference championship games eventually are going to be phased out. Like next time the playoffs expand, I think we'll be losing um, conference championship games,
Yeah.
which sucks because I like the whole idea of playing for your conference champion. Like your conference should have a champion. Like there should be somebody that won your conference
Well,
championship
they'll
game.
still have champions, but it just
Well,
won't be a
yeah, but
game for it.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. That doesn't feel right to me. I guess I do it in the NFL with divisions and stuff, but it's the new college football. Like we said, there's a lot of changes coming. We're just gonna have to accept it, and there's not all down, right? There's some benefits to it as well, like you
Yeah.
said. So
Well,
not
for
playing an
most of
extra
college
game.
football history, there wasn't a conference championship game.
Yeah, those are pretty
The
new. That is a good
SEC
point.
pioneered that in like
That
what, the
the,
90s or the
the 90s.
2000s?
Yeah, I think it was in the 90s. That is a good point. So, but all right, I think that will wrap it up then. Any other thoughts or topics or anything you wanted to bring up or talk about before we head out?
I think we hit everything, man.
Yeah, another big week, week 5 on the horizon. We will be back either tomorrow or Thursday with a prediction episode talking about all the games, giving our predictions. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We appreciate all the support that we've gotten so far in our third season. It's been an absolute blast to cover the sport that we love over these past couple of years. And we want to keep doing it. We are going to keep doing it. So stay tuned, stay with us, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we will see you guys later on this week. Until then, peace.